Samad, well, arguably the best player in these finals through the first 5 games has been Shawn Kemp, but he suffered a painful bruised sternum in Game 1. He told me that will not affect his play today. His mobility's fine, even though he is sore, and he'll wear protective padding on his chest and underneath his jersey. Meanwhile, what they're counting on for the Sonics is the Bulls to be the ones who are fatigued and who are injured. George Karl is planning an up-tempo game. He wants to wear the Bulls down, he says, even if he has to reach way down in his bench and play guys like Vincent Askew and Irvin Johnson, who haven't seen action in the last 10 quarters. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. The officials, Hugh Evans, Dick Bavetta, Steve Jaffee, the crew that worked in Game 3.
Of course, the presence of Ron Harper means that Michael Jordan now does not have to work as hard in defending Gary Payton. Also, the Bulls want to keep Rodman on Kemp as much as possible. Nevertheless, Chicago has to start forcing turnovers again and get some fast break baskets.
Seattle, good start. Fight the crowd, get him back. 25 shots for Shawn Kemp, and run, take advantage of conditioning.
And this crowd much livelier than we saw in games 1 and 2 here in Chicago. The opening tip controlled by the Bulls. The crowd actually trying to get itself into it during the playing and singing of the national anthem. They began the chant early on during the singing of the anthem. Here is Harper blocked by Payton. Shot clock at 7. We are just underway in Game 6. Pippen to the drive. We did not see that in Game 5.
Well, one of the reasons Scotty's been struggling with the shot, he gets the ball many times with the shot clock winding down. This time he didn't settle for jumper, took it hard to the hole.
Gary Payton met by Scottie Pippen. Open shot for the left shrimp, and the game is tied at 2.
Terrific ball movement. Rakowski, he wants to take that shot. Shrimp, obviously a better shooter, but Britt can hit that play.
Luke Longley playing with a sore lower back. Dennis Rodman very quiet in Game 5 in Seattle. Michael Jordan. Oh, he knew on the release. He began to walk back down court.
2 series, 2 touches for Jordan in the same spot on the floor.
Shawn Kemp not able to hit on his first opportunity. The Bulls with a 5-2 lead. Jordan had missed his previous 6 from three-point range. Minute and a half gone by. Kemp had it poked away by Rodman.
As we mentioned, Scottie Pippen getting the ball with the shot clock winding down. There's 7 seconds on the shot clock. Michael decides not to drive it, see what he's got with the jump shot first, as the Chicago bench glad to see Michael get off so well.
And here's Kemp from deep. Ron Harper playing with the band back. Played only 1 minute. In game number 5 has seen very little action since game 2. Pippen putting moves on Kemp, slicing his way, and back come the Sonics. 3-on-2 developing, but the Bulls get back. Rakowski blows the stuff. He thought it was foul.
They're going to let this one go a lot, Marv. Rakowski's got to finish that play.
That was last touch by the Sonics.
Well, the last 2 games, Frank Rakowski has played 33 minutes, has not scored a point, has 4 rebounds, but yet he's been effective for this team because he is spreading the floor. He can't believe a foul wasn't called there on the play before. Scottie Pippen thought he got hit.
Longley. Nice pass for Rodman. Here's Hersey Hawkins. Lost it from behind, and we are seeing a different Scottie Pippen here at the start. He's come out of very aggressive fashion. Ron Harper giving the Bulls a 7-2 lead, and they are standing and cheering here at the United Center. Pressure from Chicago. Sonics able to get it down. Hersey Hawkins. Hersey Hawkins, as Michael Jordan described him, has been very scrappy, very aggressive. He's played very well the last 2 games. Jordan lost it. He thought he was fouled. 4-on-3 for Seattle. Kemp. And the Bulls were looking for a charge, did not get the call as Kemp was able to tip it home.
Well, in the other games of this series and throughout all the playoffs, we have heard so many whistles. The officials look like they're going to let them play. If they do this, however, they got to let them go all game this way.
The Bulls 7 and the Sonics 6. And now a whistle away from the ball as Steve Javie indicates a foul on Murkowski.
This is what championship basketball is all about. Let the players decide this. Rodman with another flop. Sean Kemp just stays with it. Sean Kemp again very active. The difference for Chicago, they're taking the ball to the basket. They're not settling for the perimeter game.
And that's what Jordan attempts to do and was fouled. He was hacked. Percy Hawkins called for his first.
Well, the players have it in their minds. They want to be aggressive. They want to take the ball to the basket as much as possible, but they're going to start to get some second thoughts. If they're going to go to the hole and not get the whistles when they get fouled, well, they're going to start thinking about maybe just relying with that jump shot.
Well, Michael with his 4th point. Jordan 11 of 22, 26 points the other night in Seattle. The rest of the Bulls just 18 of 55, but it was a very quiet 11 of 22. Michael shut down in the 4th quarter. Did not have a field goal the last 9.5 minutes and looked tired in the second half.
Marv, that long week on the road in the 2-3-2 format at the very end of the season, very debilitating for the team like Chicago on the road.
And he had to chase Gary Payton around at the other end of the court. Off the steal. And taken back by Payton. Payton for Kemp. And a blocking foul against Chicago.
Well, Chicago has had a number of situations in the early going here where they have been a little bit careless with the handle. A couple of catches by Luke Longley. That time, Scottie Pippen not making sure he had the ball before he went down court and gave up the ball. And Scottie felt he was in good position to take that charge. I think he was too far underneath the basket. Good call.
What's a first-team all-league defensive player like Scottie Pippen doing taking charges anyway? That's for guys who have no game. When you can play basketball, you are defenders. You're not a guy that just gets run over and bailed out by the refs.
And Pippen picked up his first foul. Matt, did you have something to say?
I'm stumped. I don't know. I thought that was a part of good defense, taking charges. No way Scottie Pippen could block that shot.
And Luke Longley could not handle the lead. Hopper says his fault. Bulls 9, Sonics 8, with 7:40 remaining in this opening quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Bill Walton. On Rashad and a storm working the sidelines. Payton, yes. And the Sonics with a 1-point lead.
Hannah was talking about play the full 48. Seattle does not think that Chicago can do that. The poise, the confidence, the determination evident for the Sonics today.
Here's a three for Pippen. Scottie Pippen. Only 3 of 24 from downtown the last 3 games, and the Bulls a horrible 3 of 26 in Game 5 on Friday night. In fact, at one point they missed 20 straight three-pointers. Shrimp, yes, and the game is tied at 12. Bulls have hit their first 2 three-point attempts. Jordan and now Pippen. Scottie Pippen, who's playing hurt, the bad ankles, a bad back, sore knee, has had a very difficult series. His shot corner, Longley from way out. The tip pass converts.
A poor spacing by Chicago with Jordan being fronted in the post. Luke Longley has to get up above the tip of the circle to get Murkowski out of there. That's why they cannot throw that lob to Michael.
Bulls with a 14-12 lead. Here's the double on Kemp. Rodman over to help. Kemp in trouble. Hawkins able to save it. Midcourt crowd wanted to travel. Shot clock is at 3.
Seattle is not taking care of their defensive boards. And the fact that Sean Kemp is off to a very slow start is hurting the Sonics.
And the Bulls are firing from a 3-point range. Shrimp for 3. Way off.
Everybody just launching the first shot that shows up, trying, I think, to get whatever jitters there might be, and there shouldn't be at this juncture, just to shoot jump shots.
Timeout is taken with 5:33 remaining in the first quarter. The Bulls with a 14-12 lead on the Sonics. Scottie Pippen in a discussion with Hugh Evans. Here's the three-point shot by Scottie Pippen to end his drought in that department. And watch the work off the offensive boards. First Jordan, he goes wide of the mark, and Rodman puts it home. So the Bulls feeling better about things in this first quarter. They lead by 2. An unlikely, dramatic turnaround, winning the last 3 games. So what is their approach tonight? We asked that of Coach George Karl.
At times this year, we have been overly happy with success. And, you know, if we come out happy tonight and not angry, you know, Chicago will embarrass us. But there's a lot of class in what we did. I think there's a moment of pride that's got to come with that. But I think my team's going to be very serious tonight. I think they're going to play their best basketball game. In Chicago, we're going to make, the whole theme since Game 3 is make Chicago earn Game 4, win 4. And I think we'll do that.
And you can see it on the faces of guys like Schrempf and Brakowski. It's always there in Sean Kemp's eyes.
Shot clock is run down. It's at 1. Pippen just did beat the 24. And it's the Bulls by 4. Scottie Pippen off to the fast start. 3 of 5. He has 7 points and looking very active, particularly on the defensive end.
It's remarkable how well he's playing. Those injuries don't get better in 2 days.
Oh, Brakowski way off. He's been looking for the 3. He has not taken the shots the last couple of games, but feels he can hit from downtown. Kemp broke it up. So Sean Kemp with the steal.
And Luke Longley continues to have problems catching and holding on to the basketball.
The Sonics give it right back. Harper for 3. And Schrempf to the board. That left Schrempf for Gary Payton, met by Scottie Pippen. Yes, Gary Payton with the touch. He's hit his first 2. The Bulls 16, the Sonics 14.
That's a beautiful move by Payton. He made Scottie Pippen think he was going to spin and drive, and it froze Pippen.
It's not just individual basketball. Nice pick and roll initiated by the ball handler.
And a strong move for the basket by Longley. That's his first field goal. For the Bulls, in losing the 2 in Seattle, it's their first back-to-back defeat since last February when they lost it in Denver and in Phoenix. Here's Payton again off the spin. What a move by Payton. And the Bulls again lead by 2. The Bulls have not lost 3 straight since January of 1995. They lost 4 in a row during that stretch, but Michael Jordan was in the midst of his retirement. Hacked by Payton. For Payton, it is his first foul, so Jordan will go to the line. Overall, the Chicago Bulls at home have been magnificent, as you'd expect in recent years. The last time that they lost 2 in a row here in Chicago was January of 95. Jordan has 6 points, along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. The last time they lost 2 in a row at home with Jordan, February of 93, Matt, when you were a child.
And the old building across the street, which is now a parking lot. And you remember all the complaining last season about the new United Center, how the Bulls could not get used to the crowd atmosphere, to the floor, to the baskets, to where the bench was. Everything was wrong with it until Michael Jordan returned.
Nothing wrong with Seattle's offense. That's fine as their defense. They're not pushing Chicago to the perimeter. They're not taking care of their defensive boards.
Bulls lead by 4 as we come up on 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Nate McMillan first time running the travel on McMillan. Sam Perkins also on the floor for the first time, and it's a 24-second violation indicated, but looked like that previous shot hit the rim. Yes.
I hope that did. I hope that's not just me that saw that hit the rim. The shot thrown up by Nate McMillan clearly will clang off this rim.
Well, it's close, Bill. Very close. The question is whether it did hit the rim, because then the shot clock is reset. And after the officials discuss it, they say, yes, it did. Here's a look from another angle, and it did clearly. Yes,
I did rebound 1 or 2 shots in my life.
That doesn't mean anything about your sight from this distance.
Well, that's how you get rebounds, by looking at the ball. That's one thing Luke Longley does not do very well.
And a foul is called, a pushing foul on Rodman. It's his first.
And Dennis Rodman slaps the ball out of the hands of Shawn Kemp, and right away George Karl right into the face of the officials complaining about it. Shawn Kemp has been so strong, so quick in his low post moves, getting in there and drawing that personal foul. But these are the antics of Dennis Rodman that bring even more attention to himself and alert the referees. Just like that, you see Steve Javie watching him, George Karl complaining. These are the moves Dennis Rodman just has to stay away from.
Well, Michael Jordan telling us prior to the game that he hopes, and he's talked to Dennis about calming down, because it just brings more attention not only to Rodman but the teammates in terms of the officials checking them much closer.
Marvin, it worked early in the season. He got under Seattle's skin, but Seattle has moved beyond that. They've got experience now. And now it's just a big picture time. This is the championship being decided right now.
Tony Kukoc has come on for the first time. The Bulls obviously would prefer having Kukoc come off the bench. Jordan for Longley. Well, the double team stopped Jordan at the baseline, but he was able to hit Longley with that pass. And the Bulls now lead 22-16.
It's just remarkable how he can make decisions in the air, Jordan.
Kemp rejected.
Jordan will be isolated against Shawn Kemp. He just gets right to the hoop. Shawn closes out on him, and then Jordan pulls the ball back, and Sam Perkins breaks down defensively.
Sonics have missed their last 4 shots. Shot clock is down to 5. Kemp has to fire it up, and hits. Foot on the line, a 2-pointer, 6 for Kemp, and the Bulls now lead by 4. Shawn Kemp playing with some great passion. Challenged his teammates after the loss in Game 3. Did not like their attitude. That's been a big factor. Hawkins on the shot that came up short. Nate McMillan, who's provided a lift despite the fact that he has been playing hurt. McMillan working against Kukoc. Now Perkins posting up. Open shot from McMillan. And back comes Jordan. Last touch by Kukoc.
Seattle is not doing a good job on their defensive boards, but Shawn Kemp, they threaten inside, and then Shawn Kemp, that's his 6th shot of the game. He's got a couple free throws. Sonics playing terrific basketball.
Timeout is taken by the Bulls. We'll be right back.
Has had his injury problems and has really not been able to help the Sonics until the last 2 games. And did he ever help? But here in a collision with Tony Kukoc, and Nate McMillan shaken up on the play as he got the hip check inadvertently from Tony Kukoc.
You can just see the caution that Nate is forced to play with because of that herniated disc. This great champion of a person and a terrific player has one chance, and his body lets him down.
And McMillan able to hang in, remains on the floor. David Wingate has come on for the first time for Seattle. Steve Kerr in for Chicago. We come about 1 minute left in the first quarter. Illegal defense called for the first time. So that is the warning against the Bulls. Ron Harper starting the game after playing only 1 minute in Game 5 in Seattle, and has played well in this first quarter. Here's Dennis Rodman for Luke Longley. Here's it from the crowd. 4 points for Longley.
Ron Harper is moving so much better. He was so tentative back in Seattle. Perkins has to have a big game for Seattle. He has not been aggressive in his early moments.
McMillan. He's not beating for a travel. Harper able to dive for it. Steve Kerr only 2 of 8 in 24 minutes the other night. Tony Kukoc rebounded by Kemp. The Sonics on the run. Wingate gives it back, a bad pass. And on the scramble, Rodman had it knocked away. Last touch by Seattle.
That's a terrific defensive recovery by Ron Harper. And those are the kinds of plays he has made for Chicago all season long and in the early going into the playoffs. But Tony Kukoc posting up the smaller Payton inside. No fadeaway jumpers. Take the ball strong in the hole.
Seattle does a terrible job of getting the ball to a guard on the fast break. Get the ball to Payton. Get the ball to Wingate. McMillan.
Kukoc from the shot clock running down. The extension by Tony Kukoc. Final seconds of the quarter. Perkins for 3. And that's it for this opening quarter in Chicago. Standing ovation for the Bulls. After 1. The Bulls 24. And the Sonics 18. Chicago trying to turn it. After the poor performances in Seattle the last 2 games, the Sonics hoping to bring it to a 7th and final game here on Wednesday night. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
NBA Finals.
Welcome back to the United Center in Chicago, and a happy Father's Day from all of us here at NBC Sports as we head to the second quarter. No team in NBA history has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. To give you a broader perspective, Major League Baseball, no one has done it. National Hockey League, 2 teams have done it. The 42 Toronto Maple Leafs, the 75 New York Islanders. And no team has ever come back from a 3-2 deficit in the NBA with 2 wins on the road. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Marv, Nate McMillan has been bothered on that left leg by pressure on the sciatic nerve. He's had a lot of pain in the back of the leg, but this most recent injury was a knee on the side of the leg. They iced it during that timeout. It shouldn't have any impact on the injury that he has struggled with throughout these playoffs. Let's send it over to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Hannah. I just talked with Chip Schaefer, the Wolves trainer. He told me the ice they're putting on Ron Harper is preventative sort of medicine. What it does, it gives it an analgesic effect that numbs the knee and keeps the pain away. Marv?
All right, thanks, Ahmad. Opening minute, second quarter, and the Bulls with a 24-18 lead on the Sonics.
Chicago has to be very happy with their defense in the first quarter, holding the Sonics to just 18 points. And I don't know why Seattle doesn't go to more pick and rolls. Chicago has had a lot of trouble defending it.
Gary Payton just missed a wide open layup after he burned Jordan from the perimeter.
And here's Jordan getting inside, and he was fouled. Foul on Wingate. For David Wingate, his first, and Michael Jordan to the line. He's 4 of 4 at the line.
And again, the intelligence of the Bulls. They know that when Michael has this feeling on championship night, when he's got a small defender, give him some room to get to the hoop. He can just overpower the outsized Wingate.
8 points for Jordan, although he is only 1 of 5 from the field. You know, you think back to after Game 3, several Sonics, including Gary Payton, basically giving their concession speeches. Rodman is fouled, and he'll go to the line. You had the feeling that the Sonics felt that the series was all over. They appear to be giving up, except for Shawn Kemp, who made those bold statements, and here they are right back into it, although the Bulls are playing very well in this first half, and Dennis Rodman hearing it from the crowd after drawing the foul. It's called on Kemp, who sits down.
Well, you just can't assume that Michael Jordan is going to miss free throws just because he's a good foul shooter, but how can you not box out Dennis Rodman in a free throw situation? He makes a living doing that.
Matt, Seattle's a poor defensive rebounding team. They don't have the big guys. Rodman horrible at the line. Remember, it was in Game 2. Seattle had a chance to go for the victory. Scottie Pippen continues to play perfect basketball.
27-18 lead in this opening minute of the second.
One game for all the marbles. Game 7, if necessary, Wednesday night on NBC. Gay on NBC is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. And by LDDS WorldCom, telecommunications service that's one-on-one.
Scottie Pippen defending the bigger Sam Perkins will step in front for the steal to start one of the fast breaks and one of the rare ones for Chicago, as they have not had very many. But Scottie Pippen right here in the middle of the floor, nobody coming up to stop him. Michael Jordan running this lane and wide man over here, and Scottie Pippen just making the right play with the perfect bounce pass to finish off the fast break.
And the good ball movement by Chicago continues. They've got 10 baskets and 8 assists, and the people in Chicago are ecstatic.
Well, this crowd has been into it right from the start, looking to provide a lift for the Bulls. Very quiet crowd in games 1 and 2. Chicago with an 18-8 run the last 7 minutes. Perkins coming up short. And it was last touched by the Bulls.
Marv, Sam Perkins looks really off tonight. This is the guy who has to have a big game. He had a wide open dunk there and just not moving well at all.
Perkins has missed his first 3 shots. Seattle bench 0 for 6 here at the start. Now Perkins gives it back. Shrimp for 3. Yes! Detlef Schrempf from downtown. He has 7 points, and the Bulls now lead by 6.
Poor decision by Tony Kukoc to come doubled as he ran back to the other end. Phil Jackson let him know about it. Rodman had Perkins under control, too far away from the basket. Double team not necessary.
And Rodman took a poke in the head from Schrempf. For Detlef his first. And a new 24 for the Bulls. Here's another look at it.
Rodman in the triple post. Detlef feels he can get a play from behind. Rodman always has to have the last word.
Jordan with a series of fakes, had to give it back. And a travel on Steve Kerr. The Bulls were called for 7 traveling violations in Game 5 in Seattle.
And I talked to Phil Jackson before the game. I said, of the 7, Phil, how many really were? He said 1. Actually, on that particular play, Michael Jordan got away with a walk to escape the defensive Wingate.
When does Phil Jackson start complaining about the refs? Seattle hammered him in Game 5.
Of course, that's always a coach's point of view in terms of, well, sure. 1 out of 7.
Well, first it's the refs, then it's the timekeeper, then it's the announcers next. Who knows?
Well, he wasn't complaining about the referees. He was just answering my question.
He was complaining about you, I think. Kukoc off the steal. Kerr facing the double team. We are early second quarter, and the Bulls lead 27-21. Steve Kerr, who has not been hitting the shot, hits on his first, and the Bulls lead 29-21.
Jordan rode Kerr the last turnover. He went right back to him with the pass. That's what great teammates do. They lead their guys to beautiful performances.
Hawkins. Percy Hawkins with the floater. His second field goal. He has 4, and the Bulls now lead by 6 points. Phil Jackson with Rodman, Kukoc, Jordan, Hawkins, on the floor. Beautiful pass. Rodman in the kick. Well, Dennis getting credit for the extra rebound. That's the second time that has occurred.
That's Moses Malone basketball. But Chicago's getting to the hoop. They did not do that out in Seattle.
Wingate hits from downtown. And now it's changed to a 2. Had the foot on the line. 31-25 the score. And a blocking foul called on Wingate.
Well, Michael Jordan drawing the attention of the defense, getting up in the air, finding Kerr wide open, and the crowd, you could feel it in the tone. They wanted Steve to make that, and he really put a beautiful arc on that shot to get the first one. And Michael is so in tune anytime around the basket, feeling the defense, finding the open man, and Scottie Pippen appreciates that kind of basketball.
Longley back on the floor. Longley setting up on Perkins. And it's a traveling violation.
Luke has been playing very, very well. He's another one of the Bulls who's going to have off-season surgery. He's got to have some bone spurs taken off those ankles. He will not play in the Olympics for Australia, his native country, this summer.
And Luke also bothered by a sore back in recent days. 6-point Chicago lead. 4 minutes in, second quarter. And the overplay, Harper called for the foul.
Well, the Bulls have made a concerted effort anytime a smaller man is playing a bigger man in the post to get around and front and put pressure not only on the passer, but make that a tough pass, and it has gotten the Bulls more aggressive defensively. Hey, Chicago is playing very well. Seattle is not playing their type of basketball yet, and they look at that up at that scoreboard and find themselves only trailing by 6.
And if they would just feed the post, Seattle, if Seattle would get that ball in better, they float passes, they hang them out. You got to zip it in there hard to the guy.
And that's Brett calling out of play. And it led to the offensive foul. Illegal pick set by Kemp, trying to free up the man with the ball, Shrep.
It looked like Shawn Kemp was stationary, but when he leaned over, when he put that shoulder down, if he had stood his ground upright, that would have been a foul on Rodman.
Here's Jordan. Well, would have been a two-pointer. Put on the line, so Michael is now 2 of 7 from the field.
The guards are running away from the ball in the backcourt for Seattle.
Nice. Kemp, Rodman.
Well, there's that pass you wanted, Bill, as Rodman, he was buried in the lane there, had to try to get around in front, but way too late, as Kemp did a beautiful job of holding him off. Perfect pass.
Bulls 31, Sonics 27. Jordan facing the double team, finding Pippen. Rodman trying to draw contact, no call, but Longley got it to Jordan. Here's Jordan. Michael able to elevate. Bulls lead 33-27.
Marv, defensive rebound. It's killing Seattle. They can't dig that ball out.
Shawn Kemp once again from the outside. That's his 4th field goal. He has 10 points, so the Bulls lead by 4. Bulls have led by as many as 9. Sonics briefly led by 1. They were up 10-9 in the early going. Here's Jordan going to the series of fakes. Rebounded by Shrep.
Oh, Michael is so quick right now. He had Hersey Hawkins whipped on the baseline. Hersey would have never found him, but Michael didn't realize how badly he had him beat.
Perkins working on Pippen and lost it. Harper with Hawkins back. Foul by Hawkins, and Harper had the acceleration.
Sam Perkins looks asleep.
Many have said that, but that's not necessarily on the court. It's the look, though. Sports have teamed up and created the official website for the NBA Finals at finals.com. Game previews and player bios and video highlights. The latest news on the Bulls and the Sonics. Plus, during our broadcast of the Finals, fans around the globe can interact with our very own cybercaster, Steve Snapper Jones, who is online. Not to be confused, incidentally, with the Steve Jones who won the U.S. Open earlier today. Steve was asked the other day, what is the most asked question that he has received, and this the answer. Did you get a fair deal trading courtside seats to Marvin Matt for a seat upstairs away from Bill? I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know.
Hey, Marv, I heard you were online the other day.
Well, you know, and I told Bill any time that he has a question, he can ask it directly. He does not have to go online. You know, feel free at any time, Bill.
You don't want to give me that kind of freedom, Marvin.
You want to keep me on the nice tight leash that I'm on.
Chicago with a 35-29 lead on Seattle. Halfway through the second quarter. Hawkins and Payton in the backcourt. Shrem with Kemp and Perkins up front. Here is Kemp. And Hawkins able to hustle it down. Shrem for three. Harper with Shrem back. And Jordan will reset.
Harper moving so much better. Obviously, the series of injections that he took during the course of this week seemed to be working for this game today. Always a very dangerous proposition.
Play by Perkins to break it up and hit the rim. So they got the new 24. Kukoc. The Sonics screaming for offensive interference.
It's like a volleyball game up there. Nobody going after the basketball in a green uniform as Kukoc slowly hanging all over that rim.
It's amazing. How can you expect to win the championship of the NBA when you can't get a defensive rebound each and every time the other team miss?
And another Seattle turnover. They've been sloppy with the ball. It leads to Pippen. 9 points for Scottie Pippen. And the Sonics want to talk it over. Welcome back to Chicago, and coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll hear live from Isaiah Thomas, Vice President of Basketball Operations for the Toronto Raptors. Isaiah and his Pistons won back-to-back titles in 1989 and 1990, and they often tangled with Michael Jordan and the Bulls. We'll hear from Isaiah as he chats with Bob Costas on the Prudential Halftime Report. As we were going to break on that Sonic timeout, double technicals were called on Payton and Harper as they had words as they crossed paths in front of the official scorers table. 10-point lead for Chicago, their biggest lead of the night. We have 4:39 remaining in the first half. The rebound.
Bad pass by Perkins took Shrem out of his rhythm.
Jordan. Good box out by Kemp. Shrem. Jordan able to break it up. Harper protecting the ball. With the tip. And the Bulls are rolling.
Chicago is getting fast break opportunity after opportunity. Sonics not getting back. And a shot is missed. Nobody's jumping for a rebound.
And the Bulls have out rebounded the Sonics now 24-15. Shot clock down to 5. Bottled up and held. The foul committed by Jordan.
The effect of the home crowd, which just keeps pushing and pushing for their favorite Bulls here. Just waves of rampaging Bulls at the glass. Harper throws it up. He knows somebody. That time it was Kukoc. Pippen was right there. Pippen's defense has been spectacular today, Marv.
Standing ovation for Ron Harper. Steve Kerr coming on for Harper, who is playing with an injured left knee. Kemp from Sam Perkins. It's the Bulls by 10. Chicago with 9 steals in this first half. 4 by Pippen. NBA record for the NBA Finals in a single game is 7 by Robert Horry of Houston last year. Pippen already has 4. Pippen keeps it alive as the Bulls get the new 24. Crowd wanted Kukoc to pull the trigger.
Pass it to Jordan instead.
Excellent thought. Shot clock at 5, and a travel is called.
Well, they were trying, but Michael Jordan really played beautifully by Gary Payton, bumping from behind, getting around and fronting, and doing a terrific job as he has now the last 2.5 games, just unable to get the ball to him, and Michael Jordan upset about it.
Schrempf able to free himself up. 9 points for Schrempf. Bulls lead 41 to 33 with 2.5 to go in this first half. 8 rebounds, 5 off the offensive glass for Rodman. You can see the domination by Chicago. Schrempf with a good play to knock it away from Jordan. 3-on-2. Fouled by Kerr.
That last play, Michael lit up when Detlef Schrempf switched out, and that was a replay of George Karl's faulty strategy from game 1 in this series. Led to a fast break opportunity, and with good balance, with the guard in the middle and Schrempf running the wing, they got an easy trip to the foul line.
So Detlef Schrempf to the line for the first time. Earlier this season, Detlef out with a fracture of the left tibia. Sat out 19 games. Took a while for him to make it back. His cutting and reactions were a bit off. Here's Dennis Rodman for Tony Kukoc. Kukoc 2 of 5. He has 4 points. The Chicago Bulls 9-0 at home in the playoffs, including victories over the Sonics in games 1 and 2. During the regular season, they won 39 of 41. The Sonics did not want the Bulls celebrating on their floor. Won the last 2 in Seattle. And now the Bulls are hoping to pull off the celebration here tonight. The Sonics looking to send it to a game 7 here in Chicago on Wednesday. Seattle with 6 unanswered points. They are within 6 with just under 2 minutes to go. First half. And again, the Bulls force the Sonics into a turnover.
Pippen's defense is just spectacular tonight. He's everywhere. He doesn't get any credit that time, but he forced that turnover. So nice to see Scotty back on top of his game.
Chicago has had a couple of unforced turnovers by Michael Jordan on the last couple of trips. They have to start handling the ball much, much better.
Already 11 turnovers tonight. They had just 11 for the entire game on Friday. Nice ball movement. Pippen slicing his way, trying to feed off the long way, but it was called for a charging foul.
Good call. Pippen in the lane. The defenders were in the air, which is fine. Scotty initiating this contact. Knocks over a bunch of players.
Well, it is a good call, but the way this ball game started, everybody was flopping to the floor, falling down. Some of them were real charges, some of them were imagined, but this is what confuses the players. The way the game starts out, the way it's officiated, and then it starts to change as you gradually move on. Very tough to figure out.
Scottie Pippen was called for a second, taking a seat, replaced by Tony Kukoc. Here's Kemp on a double team. Shake loose, but could not hit.
I think Sean's got to take shots like that, Marvin. He's got 11 shot attempts in the game. I think 25 for him has got to be his goal. Sometimes you got to force a little bit when you're the best player on your team.
Nice lead pass, but Jordan rejected by Kemp. What a play by Kemp. How often do we see that? And here's Kemp at the other end.
Kemp is the one guy on this team that will block shots. He's not a real intimidating shot blocker, but when he gets his rhythm, he'll force Phil Jackson to take a timeout as he's led Seattle right back into this game.
You know, we have just seen one of the great end-to-end sequences of this season. The show by Shawn Kemp.
Hey, you.
Rodman doesn't have to worry about him so much as an offensive player. You do have to worry about him on the offensive glass, but no way he can get it there, as Shawn Kemp made sure nothing doing for Michael Jordan. And then Shawn Kemp, who's been shooting the jump shot really from the perimeter very well, and that tough little medium-range jumper, nicely.
You see the way Shawn Kemp floated by Jordan and let Jordan sort of suckered him in, forced him to bring it behind his head, and then wiped it off with that left hand. Reminded me of Bill Russell a little bit.
Well, Kemp with 14 points. He has sparked an 8-0 run for Seattle after the Bulls took a 12-point lead. And now Kemp sitting down with 40 seconds remaining in the half. The Bulls lead by 4. Looked like they were about to pull away, leading by as many as 12. The foul.
Luke Longley, who has been shooting the ball very well throughout the series, not getting that many shots, however, as he has averaged 11 points a game. Doing a terrific job in this ball game of when his man leaves him, finding that crease, finding that open area, and his teammates know where big Luke is and able to finish the play.
And the difference in the post feeding by both teams. Chicago, the Tex Winter and Phil Jackson, the triple post offense, they know you got to zip that ball in.
Longley going behind the back. All right.
Redheads are very good at stuff like that.
I see. Here's Perkins. He continues to struggle, but Schrepp on the rebound.
Nobody
lead by 6, and Perkins rejected. Perkins not able to hit, but a foul is called. Well, Matt, as you say, no one defending Perkins. McMillan spotted him. But Sam has had a very long first half.
Well, so, no question he's having a tough time, but you don't leave him wide open underneath, as miscommunication between Longley and Rodman, leaving him wide open, but Sam still couldn't get the shot to go.
I think they were testing Sam. I think they said, look, if we leave you wide open, can you score?
I see.
He couldn't.
He is 0 for 5 from the field. Foul was called on Rodman. And Perkins now 0 for 1 at the line. Sam was celebrated his 35th birthday on Friday and was serenaded by the crowd after the game. Had the touch earlier this series, usually very good in clutch situations.
And that's what's so surprising. I mean, this is the kind of game that Sam Perkins comes out and plays beautiful basketball and hitting the threes and rebounding, playing defense. And today, it has just been nothing.
So the Bulls lead by 5. Final seconds of the half. Jordan. And he was tripped up. That won't count. Gary Payton upset about that foul, his second. And Seattle in the penalty, so Jordan will shoot 2 with 4 at 9/10 seconds remaining first half.
Well, with the second quarter winding down, the Bulls going to their spread offense where they open the floor, and we'll give it to Pippen, Kukoc, or Michael Jordan. I asked Phil Jackson before the game, come fourth quarter, if you're having trouble scoring in the triangle, will you open it up? Give the ball to Michael Jordan at the top of the key. He said, we haven't used it much yet. We're ready to put it in.
The Bulls 44, the Sonics 38.
That's probably why Phil Jackson's coach of the year. Just, you know, call the play. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Chicago by 7. McMillan. And Perkins. That's the end of the first half. And the Bulls hearing it from this crowd. Halftime at the United Center in Chicago. And the Bulls lead the Sonics 45-38. We'll be back with Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report right after these messages.
Time of Game 6 at the United Center with the Bulls leading the Sonics 45-38. That despite a poor shooting half for Michael Jordan. He's 3 for 11. He has 14 points. Also 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Shawn Kemp leads the Sonics with 14. Bob Costas back at the United Center. We're joined from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, by two-time NBA champion and currently the head of basketball operations for the Toronto Raptors, Isaiah Thomas. No, Isaiah did not play in the U.S. Open in Bloomfield Hills. Just happens to be, coincidentally, where he lives. Isaiah, your thoughts on this first half and the way the Bulls and the Sonics each approached it?
Well, I thought Seattle did a good job in terms of handling the emotional rush at the start of the game. They're only 7 down now. They had a few turnovers at the end of the second quarter that really cost them. But I think they probably going in the locker room feeling like they're in good shape. And I think Chicago, on the other hand, is probably going into the locker room feeling that they're in good shape, too, because they're at home. I think at the end of the third quarter, you'll probably see both teams have a little tug of war. But I remember in Game 6 back in L.A., you know, Chicago's in a dangerous position because they're one injury away from actually losing this thing.
Well, that injury was your injury. You're talking about 1988. It might have been 3 in a row for you guys had not the Lakers won their second straight in 1988. Kareem made a shot over Bill Laimbeer. Actually didn't make it. He was fouled down the stretch in Game 6. He made the 2 free throws. They won a close one. Then you played Game 7 and had a great game in gutty fashion, but you were playing on a terrible sprained ankle.
Danger that they're in terms of injury. They've had Harper, Pippen. You know, as I said, they're one sprained ankle away from kind of losing this thing. They had a chance to finish it in Seattle, and you know, when you got a team down, you got to kill them.
As one of the great point guards, I'd be interested in your take on Gary Payton. I heard that Brendan Malone, your former coach, in fact, you just let him go after 1 year with the Raptors and hired Darrell Walker, but obviously there's still a lot of respect. Malone was hired by the Sonics to help scout for them during the playoffs, and he went to Payton, as I understand it, and said, look, I spent years with Isaiah Thomas. He wasn't passive. When a big game came up, Isaiah was aggressive. He went after it.
Well, that's the only way you're going to win. At this point in time in the season, you got to put it all on the line, and you got to really go for it. And you know, you're not going to get anything in the NBA by being passive. And you know what I try to tell all our guys in Toronto, you know, especially Damon, is you got to be aggressive. You got to go out there and play as hard and as well as you possibly can. Because if you're going to wait for somebody to give you something, it's not going to happen.
Dennis Rodman was a teammate of yours on 2 Detroit Piston champions. Compare and contrast. Rodman then, Rodman now.
Well, actually, Rodman was a little bit more animated then than he is now. You know, he was doing the tattoos then. He was doing shaving messages in his head. And if you remember, he would always dunk and kind of point at the crowd. I think now he's kind of toned down a little bit. He's kind of, you know, got the color in his hair, but he's still a great basketball player, and he's, you know, the best rebounder who's probably ever played the game of basketball. And he's the ultimate in terms of a teammate that you want to have on your team.
Kind of a frightening concept. This is the toned down Rodman. One quick Raptors question. You got the #2 pick in the draft. It's a foregone conclusion. The Sixers with the first pick will take Allen Iverson out of Georgetown. I know you've had Ray Allen from Connecticut in for a workout. Marcus Camby is another possibility. What do you think?
Well, if we have a shot at getting Marcus Camby, you can put a Raptor uniform on him because you know, he's a Raptor. He's everything that we want in a basketball player. And if Philadelphia's going to take Allen Iverson, you can pencil in Marcus Camby for us because he's a Raptor. He's what I'm looking for.
Real quick, Isaiah, any chance you would trade the pick? Darrell Walker, your coach, was quoted as saying, we're not married to the pick, we're engaged to it.
Well, that possibility exists, but that's only if Camby's not there.
All right.
But if Camby's not there, don't bother ringing my phone.
Thanks, Isaiah. That's a wrap for the top man from the Raptors, Isaiah Thomas. We thank him for being with us. We'll take a short break now, then check in on some of the drama at today's U.S. Open. First, a message from Prudential, and as always, a word from the NBA. Okay, we're back in Chicago. The Bulls leading the Sonics 45-38 at the half. Joined now by Julius Erving. And Doc, it's your feeling that although they trail by 7, the Sonics are very much in the game.
I think the Sonics are in this game. The Bulls have thrown a lot at them. The Sonics haven't gotten much out of their key reserve, Sam Perkins. I think the team that spends the most amount of time in the second half playing offense against the other team's set defense is going to win this game. After playing 5 games against a team, you know, you just can't play set offense. You gotta create situations in the open court and make or miss, push the ball. Seattle did that very successfully in the first quarter. Chicago has done it in both quarters.
Two big questions answered positively for the Bulls. Ron Harper plays and plays well, and that means that Jordan doesn't have to guard Payton, at least not much anyway. And Pippen, the first time he touches the ball, explodes to the basket on the drive.
Well, I think he was under specific orders from Phil Jackson to take the ball to the hole. Good things happen when you take the ball to the hole.
All right, Doc, as always, thanks. And now to the final round of the 96th U.S. Open Golf Championship.
Say that Payton is at his very best when he's playing, as he puts it, crazy. A look at the halftime statistics, the Miller Lite halftime stats. Seattle 16 of 39, 41%. Chicago at 43% on 17 of 40. Jordan, as Matt mentioned, not shooting well, 3 of 11. He does have 14 points, doing it at the line where he's 7 of 8. And the Bulls in the steals department with 9 in the first half, led by Pippen. Scottie Pippen with 4 steals, and we have seen a very active Scottie Pippen, who had an outstanding first half, 4 of 8 from the field, 9 points, 4 steals, 3 rebounds. We'll be right back. Back in Chicago, Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Bill Walton. Ahmad Rashad had a storm on the sideline as we get ready for the start of play in the third quarter. The Bulls gunning for their 4th championship the last 6 years. The Sonics trying to stay alive for a 7th game here on Wednesday. Well, Michael Jordan 3 of 11 tonight, and the rest of the team 14 of 29. So the supporting cast has done it in the first half. While for the Sonics, Sean Kemp with 14 points on 6 of 12, and a terrific display once again in the first half. The rest of the Sonics 10 for 27 from the field. Seattle ball as we get started in the third quarter. 7-point Chicago lead. Rakowski up front with Kemp and Schrempf. In the backcourt, Payton. Payton opens up by hitting the 3.
Inside-out offense. Seattle needs that. Chicago hasn't had much of that. That's one of the reasons why they haven't been getting it done from behind the line. But you dump it inside, it sets everything out.
Bulls lead 45-41. And a traveling violation on Pippen.
12th turnover for Chicago. Seattle with 11 in the first half. In the half-court, Seattle does have to go into Kemp, but only 2 fast break points in that first half for Seattle. I don't know if they can win a basketball game playing that way.
And guys, that's the 4th travel on the Bulls. They were not happy with 7 travels in Game 5 on Friday. Here is Kemp. Spot, but could not convert.
At least Kemp is still taking good shots. They open up with Payton and Kemp handling the ball.
Open shot for Harper, who has been a major factor. He has 7 points, and the Bulls lead by 7.
Total miscommunication on the part of the Sonics in their transition defense. That wasn't even a fast break. It was a slow break.
Oh, he was playing tough by Pippen.
Pippen's playing a solid all-around game. But when he gets Schrempf, he should keep facing the basket, use his quickness, foot speed, just blast right by Demba.
Schrempf has 13 points. Harper got the step on Rakowski. Short with the putback.
Defensive rebounding. Again, you think of championship teams, you think of big guys snatching balls and firing outlet passes. There's nothing. This is just layup after layup for Chicago.
All started with the double team on Jordan and big men chasing small men out on the floor.
Here's Schrempf for 3. And Jordan with the rebound. Bulls lead by 7. 2 minutes, 10 seconds gone by. Third quarter, Jordan for Longley. Yes. The Bulls have opened up a 52-43 advantage.
Penetration and dish. That's Michael Jordan's ultimate taking over of this league after Isaiah, after Magic, and after Larry Bird.
Rakowski for 3. Longley able to save that pass slightly off, but then threw it away. Gave it right back to the Sonics.
Test that man for color blindness.
Shot clock at 10. Schrempf went flying. Shot clock at 4. Oh, what a shot by Gary Payton.
Well, after terrific defense on the part of Ron Harper, really stifling Gary Payton, forcing him to take that tough shot.
Ron Harper will have to take some time out to tie the shoelaces.
I don't know how that was not a traveling violation on Payton.
And still hits the 3. Forget about the shoelaces. There you see it. Dragging the right foot. 10-point Chicago lead. Offensive foul is called.
Percy Hawkins as Ron Harper's got to tie the shoes up. This is after he made it, where you just play with no shoelaces. Percy Hawkins called for the screen across foul on the move. Dennis Rodman flops once again. Again, here's a guy that doesn't flinch when Shaq thumps him. And Percy Hawkins, who's bigger than Marv, comes out and sets a screen.
Hey, that's 4 on Hawkins. Off the pop. So again, Jordan heads to the line. Foul on Payton. That's 3 on Payton. And a timeout taken by Seattle. Animated discussion between Dennis Rodman and Hugh Evans, who is being led away by teammates. 8:08 to go, third quarter. It's the Bulls by 10. We welcome you back to Chicago, where the Bulls with another spurt. There's Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the original owners of the Chicago Bulls, and now one of the Bulls' partners. Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam. He and Lamar will not be getting together after the game. And Bill Murray, a native of Chicago. We talked with Bill earlier. He said that he always returns for ritual sacrifices. Oprah on hand here at the United Center.
Well, Michael's still struggling from the field at 4 for 12, but like all the great scorers in the history of basketball, when they do not have their shot going, they find ways to score, and here it is, right at the free throw line. Michael going for his 9th and 10th free throw of the game.
4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. The Bulls lead by 12. This matches their biggest lead of the game. Gary Payton is playing with 3 personal fouls. Percy Hawkins has 4. They're on the floor with Kemp, Schrempf, and Bukowski. Open shot for Schrempf. And left Schrempf with a solid ball game. 6 of 11. He's now the high scorer for Seattle with 15.
Seattle's hope here has to be on the fact that Chicago cannot play a full 48-minute game. The age, the injuries. But that crowd right now is so ready.
Hopper way off the front. Dennis Rodman, who's been quiet the last 2 games, has certainly had an impact here tonight. As Hawkins broken out. And here's Pippen leading the 3-on-2 as they spread the floor. Pippen for Rodman on the right. And it counts.
Well, Dennis Rodman doing what he does best, work on the offensive glass. Nobody gets a body on him. Frank Bukowski loses him right on the doorstep. Dennis Rodman finishing one off. And then you get the rare 3-on-2 fast break that you don't normally see. You see 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s, and Scottie Pippen making the nice play to Dennis Rodman.
Matt, I think that Dennis Rodman works the crowd better than he works the offensive board.
Well, he has the crowd going with 9 points and 10 rebounds. Shot clock at 5. And away from the ball, the call against the Sonics as Rodman was taken down by Kemp. That's 3 on Kemp.
Rodman and Kemp away from the ball. Kemp, the frustration. That was not a flop. He threw him to the ground. Sean, you cannot lose your poise here. That's Dennis Rodman trying to get into your head. You've been above that all series. Stay that way.
And this is that little bit of a different tactic that the Sonics have not seen in the last few games. Fronting the big man inside, and Seattle not handling it very well at all.
The Bulls have a 15-point lead. Seattle calling for time.
The pass by Dennis Rodman, who's been doing everything here in the third. This has just become a clinic for Chicago at the basket. Michael Jordan so ecstatic. George Karl forced to call a timeout. Things falling apart for Seattle. They're in desperate straits at this moment.
Seven-year-old Jeffrey Jordan holding up the Happy Father's Day Dad sign. Little communication for Dad, who has led his Bulls to a 64-47 lead with 6:25 remaining in the third. Jordan with the steal. Jordan puts the move on McMillan. Harper and Payton able to break it up.
Well, this is the situation that Gary Payton loves best when Nate McMillan comes into the ballgame. Now Gary doesn't have the responsibility of handling. He can play off the ball, and it's usually a good situation for Seattle. But the way Ron Harper is defending right now is outstanding.
Yeah, but Han has been telling us that Nate McMillan's so frustrated with his teammates' lack of performance. Seattle better get on their game, or this celebration is going to start momentarily.
Jordan with the air ball. Rare miss for the Bulls in this third quarter. Now 7 of 10 from the field. Oh, Rodman broke up that pass from Payton.
What is Gary Payton doing? Rodman blocked that with his face.
And Payton and Rodman in a conversation. Rodman posting up on Payton. Bulls looking to go to Rodman down low. Now Longley with 1 on the shot clock. 24-second violation would have been called, but the Sonics came up with a steal. Perkins with three. Oh, didn't get anything.
Nate McMillan cannot even move out here, Marvin. It's beyond an emotional lift. You're only going to get that at home. They got to get somebody who can play in there, who's physically healthy.
See the Bulls 7 of 10 for their 19 points and a 19-9 in the third. Pippen claiming that he was fouled. Payton for Perkins. Sam Perkins with his first field goal. He missed his previous 7, and the Bulls call for time. 4:48 remaining in the third. It's the Bulls with a 15-point lead.
I think of myself as an athlete and not as a woman athlete.
I think the biggest stereotype is that women cannot dunk the ball.
I didn't have a female role model that played a sport.
I have a dream of becoming an Olympian.
Don't let guys tell you what you can't do. Girls can be strong, too.
Boys and girls look up to you. That is probably one of the best feelings that I've ever had.
In the years to come, more women will be able to dunk.
We have some warriors on our team.
Until we win the gold medal, my job won't be finished.
The USA Basketball Women's National Team coming this summer.
Decathlete Dan O'Brien. After failing to make the team in '92, he's been waiting 4 years for this moment. Michael Johnson, America's most dominant sprinter. His goal is unprecedented double gold in the 200 and 400. Plus, Olympic dreams are on the line for America's top divers. The U.S. Olympic trials next Saturday and Sunday on NBC.
Back at the United Center, where the Bulls lead the Sonics by 15. Seattle's inspirational leader, Nate McMillan, sobbing during that timeout. Tears of both frustration and pain. Team doctor tells me that he did re-aggravate his back injury late in the first half. He was wearing a back brace just prior to his trying to enter the game for a few minutes and in obvious pain, and they're not sure if he will be able to play again today. Marv?
Thank you, Hannah. 4:48 remaining third quarter, and the Bulls lead by 15 points.
You feel so bad for Nate. Mark, I dreamed my whole life of playing against Abdul-Jabbar in the NBA Finals. I finally got that chance, and I had a broken foot at the time, and it just ruined my life. Of course, until they let me carry your bag.
I was going to say, but it's been turned around the last couple of years.
Now
that they let me,
NBC Association.
now that they let me carry your room service and make your dinner reservations, it's a lot better.
Pippen checking the shot clock. It's down to 3. Harper for 3. And a loose ball foul. Called on the Bulls.
I really haven't noticed the Sonics defense picking up that much, but in the last 3 possessions for Chicago, very tentative. They had a couple of fast break opportunities that they didn't take. The Sonics want to get this thing to 10 points before this third quarter's over.
Loose pass, Payton finding Perkins. And it's a 13-point Chicago lead. And the crowd trying to rev up the Bulls once again.
Good sign that Perkins is coming to life, but Shawn Kemp's only taken 1 shot this half.
Nice move by Pippen. And here comes Payton with Jordan back.
Now right there, Payton should just go right at Jordan. You're only going to win if you attack with your strength.
Fires the 3. He has 14 points, and the Sonics are down by 10. Jordan has not had a good shooting performance, but he has distributed the ball well. He's been looking for teammates. On the back tap, it's handled by Payton.
Ahmad was telling us that Phil Jackson does not want these wild threes. That's how Seattle got back into the end of the first half. They're creeping back in right now because of Chicago's poor offense.
Shrek with the post-up move. Rebound kept alive by Kemp. And the save by Kemp. What a play by Shawn Kemp. What ball control to fight off 2 Bulls. And that makes it a 9-0 run for the Sonics. The Bulls call for time. So the Sonics have come.
It goes right back to what Hannah talked about at the very start of the game, about Seattle's hope being based on Chicago's inability to play a full 48. Payton very quiet in the first half. Payton has come back strong. He's got 8 points here in the third, along with 6 assists. Magnificent third quarter for Gary Payton, but they're still down 9. The crowd here has been put back in their seats.
Phil Jackson will rest Michael Jordan. Rodman is back on the floor. Kukoc, Pippen, Harper, and Kerr. Rodman setting the screen. Kukoc in a battle with Perkins. Shot clock at 7. Here's Kerr over Perkins. Yes! A 3 for Steve Kerr, who was 3 of 20 from downtown in this series prior to that shot.
Oh, no way he could see the basket. He was totally covered. He just had to launch.
They bring Rodman back in, and he shuts down Kemp right away.
Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Intended for Pippen. And back comes Payton. Here's Kemp. Shawn Kemp has mastered that shot. It appears he's about to put it on the floor and drive to the basket, but he has that nice little pull-up now.
In this situation with Chicago struggling, you say, why would Phil Jackson take Michael Jordan out? First of all, it's normally when he comes out of the game, late in the third quarter, but also Phil likes to show the confidence in the other players that they can stem the tide.
And yet another travel on the Bulls. That's the 5th time they have been called 4 steps.
But it's been when Jordan's on the bench this entire series that Seattle has made their greatest runs, particularly in this building. In the 2 games out there that Seattle won, it didn't matter that Jordan was on the court. Seattle spanked him anyway.
Minute 25 remaining, third quarter. Sonics down by 9. Payton putting moves on Harper. Did not find the shot. Shot clock at 4. Payton from deep. Forced into a difficult shot.
And a great rebounding job by Scottie Pippen, who throughout this series, despite his shooting problems, has played the other parts of the game.
Harper rejected by Kemp. Kept alive, though. Harper trying to back to 3-point territory. Shot clock is down to 5. Kukoc. Pippen traveling. What is going on here?
That's a good call. Scotty stepped into his shot. He didn't deliver it. Again, the hesitation that Scotty has. The shooting, both teams dead even. The score is not a 9-point lead. Scotty needs to attack, be more of a leader when Michael's on the bench.
Vincent Askew, who was benched the last 2 games, seeing some action here. But not happy with his play. And he goes right to the offense. Rodman with the rebound.
Everything one-on-one for Seattle. If you're going to go one-on-one, go one-on-one with Payton. Go one-on-one with Kemp. And move off of them. Everybody standing around watching.
15 seconds to the quarter. 4-second differential with the shot clock. Pippen. Down to 5 seconds. Look out. Kerr going for the steal. Payton finding Hawkins for 3. In Chicago. The Bulls 67, Sonics 58. Kemp 8 of 16 for his 18 points. Jordan not shooting well, 5 of 14 for 20 points. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC. In Barcelona.
People don't realize how significant it is to be playing in the Olympics. It's the greatest experience you will ever have. Last time I was from a player perspective. This time I'm going to the Olympics as a fan.
The Dream Team, coming this summer on NBC. Convicted of violence, the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Well, the Bulls are pulling out all the stops to get this crowd going. These are some things we haven't heard in the past. In fact, I knew they were serious about getting the crowd into it when we heard the rendition of Macho Man from the Village People in the first quarter. Now, that's early.
Very early, normally a second half song, but Bob Costas was talking about it at the very start of the show, how this is the Chicago Bulls fans' opportunity. It's the only chance this year where they've really had an opportunity to be a factor.
Randy Brown has come on for the start of the fourth quarter. Michael Jordan is back. The shot clock rolling down. It's at 5. Kukoc for 3. Rodman with the rebound and fouled by Kemp. For Kemp, it is number 4.
Well, in the fourth quarter of Game 5 out of Seattle, George Karl and the Sonics went to hard double teaming of Michael Jordan and took the Bulls totally out of their offense. They did it on this occasion as well, but when you double team, you are vulnerable on the offensive glass.
Rodman's got his rhythm, though. 19 attempts for rebounds. He's pulled it in 13 times. That's a phenomenal percentage.
Here's Brown for 3. And chased down by Rodman, beating Askew to the loose ball.
Dennis is just out hustling. He was a non-factor late in the week in Seattle. Today, beautiful.
Little reminder of Game 2. A lot of offensive rebounds, no scores. Holding on to the game by time of possession.
Shot clock at 5. Kukoc for 3. Yes. His first three-pointer, so the Bulls are hitting the threes. It's been a factor after the terrible time they had in Seattle on Friday. It's their 6th from downtown, 6 of 16. And they back it up. Here's Payton for 3. Yes. Gary Payton with 17. The Bulls 70. The Sonics 61 with a minute and a half gone by in the fourth.
Marv, Seattle's doing a really good job of getting the ball in Payton and Kemp's hands. Much better than they've done in their earlier defeats.
Jordan. Calls for time. Tony Kukoc hears it from the crowd as he came up with the save and took the timeout.
Well, the most important thing on defense, if you can get the other team to miss a shot, you've got to get the rebound.
Timeout taken. We'll be back at the United Center in just a moment.
great taste runs in the family brings you Miller Moments.
Tonight's Miller Moment takes us back to the 93 NBA Finals, Game 6. And the Bulls trailed the Suns by 2 in the final seconds when John Paxson hit that clutch three-pointer to give Chicago the lead. The Suns had one last chance, but Kevin Johnson's shot blocked by Horace Grant. The Bulls became the first team in 27 years to win 3 consecutive NBA titles. That was done also on Father's Day back in '93. In recognition of that moment, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. There's John, now an assistant coach, his first year as an assistant with the Bulls after serving as color commentator for the Bulls. His clutch shooting made him a major contributor to the Bulls' 3 NBA championship teams. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Chicago with the ball. They're up by 9. And here is Jordan coming up short, but he drew the foul. Oh, he wanted that off the spin. His shooting's been off. He's 5 or 15. He's 9 of 10 at the line, and he'll go back to the line after that foul by Schrempf.
Matt mentioned earlier about the great ones when the game's not happening from the perimeter, get to the foul line. Looked like he was going to clear out a little bit with the stiff arm left, but he just dangled it out there, and Detlef came in and hammered him.
It's such a difficult cover for Vincent Askew to begin with. He has been buried so deep in the doghouse, hadn't played in the last couple of games, and now, even though he has been able to play Jordan in other situations, just looks very rusty out there.
And with this lineup for Seattle, Chicago's going to be able to get to the hoop, and nobody's going to be able to keep Rodman off the board.
And there is Juanita Jordan rooting her husband and the Bulls on. They now have an 11-point lead. 9:50 to go in this fourth quarter. But the pass is off the mark.
Terrible pass, Detlef Schrempf.
Randy Brown for Tony Kukoc. Scottie Pippen played by Hersey Hawkins. Hawkins been very quiet here tonight after the 2 solid games. Look out. I think that's headed our way. Brown trying to save it. And he was fouled by Pippen. I was ready to snatch it.
That was your ball. We were waiting to see, Mark.
Did not know whether to go left, did not know whether to go right, but really a poor decision on the part of Randy Brown in what amounted to an outlet pass and starting that little fast break play for Gary Payton. Bill, you mentioned before what a bad pass by Detlef Schrempf, and the reason why it was so bad is Gary Payton took his eye off the passer, Detlef Schrempf, and you should never make a pass to a man unless he's looking to get the target and ready to catch it.
Well, that was your excuse for not feeding Wilt all the time, right? That Wilt wasn't looking.
If I didn't feed Wilt, I was on the bench. Pronto.
Sonics have not spent much time at the line. They're now 7 of 8 from the line. The Bulls 14 of 18. Bulls lead 72-63. Steve Kerr is back. It's Kerr and Jordan with Pippen, Rodman, and Kukoc on the front line. Kukoc from 3. Yes. Tony Kukoc, who contributed early in this series with some few shots, has hit his last 2 from downtown. And a foul, a hold called on Rodman. For Rodman, his 3rd.
Rodman working the triple post. You see the action away from the ball, the antithesis of what Seattle does. The split on the ball side, the screen down on the weak side, everybody involved for the Chicago Bulls.
Bill Wennington enjoying the moment. Dennis Rodman now 14 rebounds along with 9 points and 4 assists. Isolated against Brown. Hawkins for 3. Ready to close. Hersey Hawkins 2 of 5 from the field. Kukoc for straightaway coming up short, and it lands in the hands of Kemp. Schrempf took the hit from foul.
Marvin, Gary Payton gets this short outlet pass from Sean Kemp on one of their few defensive rebounds tonight. Gary Payton's got to drive that ball up and create the fast break himself. He throws it away so early in the possession. He's the playmaker. He's the creator on this team.
All right, Askew sitting down. Perkins is back with Schrempf and Kemp up front. Payton and Hawkins at the guards. Kemp going, and Rodman trying to draw the foul. Perkins for three. Again, comes up short. Sam Perkins, 2 for 10 from the field.
Well, the Chicago Bulls have gotten a couple of major breaks there. A wide open look for Hawkins, and on another one there for Perkins to try to get Seattle back into the game. They just cannot make their three-point shots.
Shot clock at 2. Kukoc firing away now. And a foul on Brown, making contact with Schrempf.
Marv, Scotty's been all over the court, Scottie Pippen, tonight in so many different ways. He ran down that last loose ball, but when he gets the ball against Detlef Schrempf and Hersey Hawkins, he is not blasted by those guys. There's no way that Schrempf and Hawkins can even stay in the same gym with Scottie Pippen on the defensive end.
Ron Harper getting set to return. Bulls now have 14 fouls. Sonics with just 2. Schrempf pulling the hook shot out of the repertoire.
But Rodman is taking over. He knows where every ball is going. I'm dumping him in the low post now. Let him run the triple post.
Rodman has 16 rebounds. Jordan. Rodman and Perkins in the battle. It is called a jump ball. Michael Jordan upset. He thought there should have been a foul on the Sonics, but they'll jump it up when we come back. 6:58 to go in the fourth.
Ready to keep shooting, but do it. Carl told him.
On this Father's Day, Michael Jordan certainly has a host of emotional memories. His dad, James, a regular at Bulls games, very close to his son, murdered 3 years ago. We asked Michael for his thoughts on his dad.
My father's not here, but yet I have to give tribute in whatever way I can in faith and in spirit. But I think what's the blessing of today is to be able to wake up and see your kids come in and say Happy Father's Day. I mean, that's the transcending of your father to you and to your kids, and I think that lessens some of the emotional things that I had to go through for today. And I'm looking forward to going out and playing hard and knowing that I'm doing what I can to try to make him proud and make my family, my wife, my kids proud, and put forth the effort. And whatever happens from that point, it's meant to be or not.
So special, that relationship with your dad. I know my dad is watching today. He's still driving that MVP truck that I got 20 years ago.
And a standing ovation again from this Chicago crowd. They want to see the championship celebration tonight. The Sonics only 1 of 6 from the field in the fourth quarter. Oh, Pippen with the save. And it is Chicago ball with 6:50 remaining in the fourth, and the Bulls leading 75-63. Open shot for Pippen. Pippen able to scoop it up.
Second shots, the story of this game, and it's why the Chicago Bulls are in the position they are right now. Dennis Rodman does most of that damage for Chicago, but the rest of the team does very well because of all of his activity.
Here is Schrempf. So he ends that streak that you just saw, and the Bulls now lead 77-65. Schrempf with 17.
Seattle, Marv, has not been a terrific comeback team in these playoffs. When they played as the leader, they've been super.
Oh, Dennis Rodman with the one-hand rebound for his 17th, and he drew the foul, number 5, on Kemp.
Dennis Rodman, unbelievable how he works and has has a nose and has a feel for where shots are going to come, and Seattle just cannot get a body on them.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. On the pull-up. Comes back to Jordan. Oh, the ball fake. We saw that in the Orlando series, but Michael this time did not take it to the basket, just setting it up. And an offensive foul is called. And for Michael, his second.
Now, Michael does have a tendency to use that off arm to wipe out the defender to get an advantage, and just ever so slightly just wipes at the hand of the defensive man.
You get the idea he wants to do something that will get this crowd to explode. Perkins for 3. Sam Perkins, 2 of 11 from the field.
Mark, Chicago so fundamentally sound. They box out magnificently. It's not a big team. Longley's not a great defensive lineman. That's a heat check. He knows he's got the rhythm. He said, why not?
Just under 5 minutes remaining in the period. And Sam Perkins again not able to hit. It's Pippen off the boards. Chicago with a 47-31 advantage on the board. Longley is fouled. Good lead from Pippen. And Luke Longley is headed to the line.
Well, that last sequence of fast breaks for Chicago, Sean Kemp is begging for the ball. We got Sam Perkins, everybody else casting off from 3. They can't even get their star player the ball.
Standing ovation from this crowd at the United Center. And Sean Kemp has fouled out. 18 points, 14 rebounds.
Well, Luke Longley running the floor, and Sean Kemp, I think, very, very tired and frustrated that he could not get the basketball late getting back. And that really puts Seattle in a major hole. Looking over to the bench saying, hey, get me out. I want the ball. I don't know what's going on at this point.
I don't think he's asking to come out. I think he said, get me some shots here. Talking about a lead in 25. He didn't get close to that.
But what a magnificent series it has been for Sean Kemp. Took over in Game 7 against Utah and has played so well against the Chicago Bulls, which has led to much discussion around the country. You see it written, you see it talked about on the airwaves. That what a shame that Sean Kemp did not make the dream team at the Olympics.
Well, very possible that he might replace Scottie Pippen, who I don't think should play in the Olympics because of these problems that he's got health-wise.
But I'm told, Bill, that Pippen says no matter what, he'll be there. He's playing, even if it's in a limited role. I know the Bulls would like to see him sit it out for a while. Dennis Rodman receiving an ovation as he sits down with 18 rebounds. And again, 11 on the offensive boards to equal an NBA Finals record. He tied it back in Game 2, the record that is held by Elvin Hayes of the Washington Bullets. So Dennis is in the record books twice for the 11 offensive boards. Bulls lead 79-66. We come up on 4 minutes to go. This fourth quarter. Harper was looking for the alley-oop. Last touch by Seattle.
Well, Chicago was having problems late in the third quarter with their offense. It was stagnant, nobody moving, and the ball not being passed very well. They came out of this fourth quarter and spread the floor more, and they got more space to run. They got better spacing on their passes.
Shot clock at 5. Pippen. Yes. Dick Bavetta blowing the whistle. And a apparently indicating a foul call away from the ball. The basket counts, and a double foul on Wingate and Jordan.
A lot of action underneath the boards. Just a lock up there. No need to call that. It's just two tough competitors going head to head. Let the game be played by players.
All right, here's Payton. Trying to give it up. The Bulls by 16, and the crowd sensing it. The Chicago Bulls seeking their 4th NBA title the last 6 years. Only in 1992 against Portland did they have the trophy presentation on their court. Pippen, and rebounded by Perkins. They won their first championship in Los Angeles against the Lakers in 1991. They won their 3rd title in Phoenix against the Suns. Crowd looking for a travel. Perkins, Sam Perkins, who has had a very difficult time of it. 3 of 13 from the field. He now has 7 points, and the Bulls lead 82-68.
Hard for Chicago. Just keep moving. Push yourself through the fatigue. A couple more baskets will probably be all they'll need to get that championship.
Here's Kerr. Steve Kerr turning it around after the miserable time he had the previous 5 games. 3 for 3 tonight for 7 points, and the Bulls now lead 84-68. Just under 3 minutes remaining. 4th quarter. Pass from Trent was thrown away. Hawkins could not get to it, and a timeout is being called. 2:44 remaining in the 4th. We'll be back in Chicago in a moment. 2:44 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Bulls appear to be on their way to a 4th title. And following tonight's Game 6, we will have full post-game coverage, the presentation of the Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy, and extensive interviews with the Bulls. And following our broadcast, a special episode of Mad About You. A nice way to wrap up Father's Day. So for the Bulls, what appears to be the completion of what has been a magnificent season. But with the 2 losses to Seattle, did it cost them a piece of NBA history in terms of perception? The comparison has gone from greatest team of all time possibilities to, are they the greatest Bulls team of the 90s? Or are they still one of the great teams in the history of a Michael Jordan has not been able to find the cut, and Steve Kerr keeps it alive with 2:20 remaining in the 4th.
Marv, I think they're absolutely one of the greatest either. I don't think those 2 losses mean anything. Nobody remembers what the spread was in the series. As long as they win, that's what counts. They've delivered all year long.
Now down to minutes. 16-point. Kicks it out. Perkins. So Dennis Rodman with his 19th rebound. The only question is, will he break the NBA Finals record for offensive rebound? Standing ovation for the Chicago Bulls. Kerr. And back comes Hawkins with 1:25 to go. Trent. Rejected by Rodman. Wingate. And the Bulls now lead 84-70. The trophy presentation will take place on the floor here at the United Center. The Michael Jordan comeback will be complete. Here is Jordan kicking it out. Pippen. We are just under 1 minute remaining, and the Bulls will have won their 4th title. And for the Sonics, a season that saw them win 64 games. Answer their critics by getting to the NBA Finals. They had the same people wondering over the first 3 games, but they came back in glorious fashion to force the 6th game. And they are now down to the final 21 seconds of this 1995-96 season.
Chicago Stadium, the old building, one of the loudest in all of sports. The United Center, I think, has finally come of age. They have reached the level with this crowd, and they played a major part in this victory tonight.
Well, Eric Snow walks it up with time running out. Down to 10 seconds. A three-pointer for Trepp. 87-75, and we're in the final second. The Chicago Bulls have won the 95-96 NBA championship. Make it 4 in 6 years.
Most valuable player, all-star, most valuable player, and NBA Finals. A tremendous accomplishment by Michael Jordan.
And now, the questions in terms of contract signing involving Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman. On the other side of the ledger, George Karl of the Seattle Sonics. We will have the presentation of the championship trophy in just a moment. An emotional moment for Michael Jordan. The tears are flowing. We'll be talking with Michael in just a few moments, and I would think there is a tie-in with his late dad on this Father's Day, 1996. We'll be back with more from Chicago as the celebration continues. Back in a moment. Well, the celebration continues here at the United Center. The Bulls wrapping up the series in 6 games by beating the Sonics 87-75. Michael Jordan, the high man, with 22. Scottie Pippen came roaring back from the earlier disappointment. 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. Michael Jordan averaged slightly over 27 per game for the series, which is under his norm, but also 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Dennis Rodman finishing very strong with 19 rebounds, and the crowd reacting to the 4-time champion Chicago Bulls. We'll be back with more in a moment. But first, these messages from your local station.
New Miller Beer, proud sponsor of the NBA, salutes the Chicago Bulls on their 4th NBA championship of the 90s. New Miller Beer. Reach for what's out there.
Your attention to center court for the presentation of the Larry O'Brien NBA Championship Trophy. Here's NBC's Bob Costas.
For the 4th time in 6 years, the Chicago Bulls are world champions. We'll hear from most of the players momentarily, but surrounding me here, Commissioner David Stern will make the presentation. The owner, Jerry Reinsdorf. We'll hear from Phil Jackson momentarily. There he is, towering above us. Jerry Krause, whose moves have been about as shrewd as anybody in sports over the last several years. Every player on this roster, save Michael Jordan, acquired by this man. And for the presentation of the trophy, the Commissioner, David Stern.
Your 72 wins, an NBA record, and this championship placed the Chicago Bulls among the storied teams in NBA and sports history. Along the way, you and the Sonics treated the world to NBA basketball at its best. Thank you for that. Congratulations to the fans of Chicago, the organization, and the four-time NBA champion, Chicago Bulls.
They pass it around, and whatever you do, don't drop it. Jerry Reinsdorf, I know it's hard to separate one from another, but this one certainly was different.
This was different. This was a fairy tale year. 87 wins out of 100 games played. Every single man on this team contributed to this championship. Great players, led by the greatest player that ever played this game, the greatest coach in the league, but more, if you had to give credit to one man, the guy that put them all here, Jerry Krause.
Jerry, I heard you say on one occasion that had Michael remained, the 93 team might have been the best of all, but this one will do.
It's a great, great group, and this win today was so great because everybody contributed. There wasn't a guy in this roster that didn't contribute today. I'm so proud of them.
Jerry, congratulations. And now to Phil Jackson. After the two losses in Seattle, was there even a tinge of worry coming in tonight?
We were never worried. We had these people to come home to, home crowd. That's right, home cooking. We knew we'd win it right here.
You've been around the game a long time. You've played with a storied team in the Knicks of the early 70s. You've coached 4 world champions. But this season was different than any other in NBA history, and the expectations were very high. Nothing but a championship would have sufficed.
You're right. The championship was placed on our heads the first day of camp. Dennis Rodman, in addition to our basketball club, we've had a wonderful time doing it. It's been a joyful ride.
The atmosphere in this building speaks for itself. We don't want to put a damper on it in any way, but this is a question that has to be asked. Do you expect to be back here as you go for 2 in a row and 5 overall next year?
They want me back. If the management wants me back, I'll come back. But it's got to be right. It'll be right.
And now let's go to Ahmad Rashad, who's with Michael Jordan.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, I know that the first one was sweet, but how much sweeter was this one?
Well, you know, I can't even put it in words. My Father's Day, what it means to me. I know he's watching. To my wife, and to my kids, and to my mother, my brothers and sisters. This is for Daddy. I'm very happy for him.
Now, you had said, Michael, that of all the accomplishments that you've made, that this may be the accomplishment. Why?
Well, this goes right up there to having my kids. My kids are the most important things to me, my wife, my family. But next to them, this is going to mean a lot to me because of what it symbolizes, which is my father on Father's Day. It means it means a big deal to me.
Now, you remember just a couple of years ago that early flight to Indiana where it all started. Now, all of a sudden, it looks like this is a culmination.
It's been a long road. You know, it started from scratch. You know, I had a lot of support from my teammates, from my family. I'm just happy for the city of Chicago. I'm sorry I was out for 18 months, but I'm happy I'm back to bring a championship back to Chicago.
I know this is what you're pointing for, but as we look back at the baseball, we were talking the other day that you've almost forgotten about that. Seems like years ago.
I haven't truly forgot it. You know, those minor leaguers meant a lot to me. They really got me back on the road of thinking basketball. They showed me the genuine attitude that you have when you're playing a sport that you truly love. So I give a lot of gratification to the minor league organization, the White Sox organization for giving me that inspiration. But it's always great to come back and play in Chicago.
All right, Michael, congratulations to you on a great year and way to bring it to a win.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. I'm here with Dennis Rodman. They're chanting your name now. Rodman, did you simply impose your will there in the third quarter with all those rebounds and 5 points?
Well, I just think, say one thing. I just thank Chicago for having me in the city. And a lot of people never gave me any credit to be in this situation where I am today, but I proved them all wrong again, so, you know.
Did you have some doubts? Did you think maybe, Dennis, this wouldn't work out as well as it has?
No, you know, you know, I'm just happy to be here with somebody, with a city that likes to see someone work their ass off. And, you know, I just like to give back to the people.
Everybody wants to know about next year. There's been some questions. Do you feel as though you're going to be back here next year?
I don't know. It's just up to the... I promised the people one thing, and I think I did it tonight. Hopefully that's what they want, you know.
What did Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and the guys say to you after you guys lost in Game 5? They specifically had some words for you. What were they?
No, you know, the referees seem to have a tendency to pick on somebody that's totally different, but I say screw them, you know, so, I like to go out there and do what I have to do to win a ball game. If they don't like me, they're going to see me for the next 3 or 4 years in the league, baby.
Congratulations to you, Dennis. Your 3rd championship. Let's go over to Marv Albert.
All right, Jim, Dennis obviously confused. He thought it's the CNBC cable postgame show. So the Chicago Bulls, with a record-breaking 72 wins in the regular season. In the playoffs, they sweep Miami. They beat the Knicks in 5. They sweep Orlando. And they take the Sonics in 6 for their 4th championship the last 6 years. Back with Scottie Pippen in a moment. Welcome back to Chicago. Poignant moments for Michael Jordan and his family as the celebration continues here at the United Center. The Bulls over the Sonics to take the series in 6, and one of the Chicago heroes this evening, Scottie Pippen, who bounced back with a very solid game. He's with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Mark. I'm here with Ron Harper and Scottie Pippen. And Ron, first of all, you played, you had the bad leg and everything, but you gave it all tonight. What a big difference you made.
Man, I'm just happy to get this series over with. Me and my teammates came out tonight, and we knew the job that we had to do. And this goes out to all our fans and all our family in Chicago and all over the world. Hi to my son. Hi to everybody out there. And I love you, man. Get out your butt.
All right, Scottie, you've been battling injuries all year and taking a little heat in the last couple of games, but tonight you came out and had it all together.
The last 4 months, you mean?
The last 4 months.
But, you know, I had to stick with it, Ahmad. Our basketball team guys been dedicated to coming out and winning. We've been very focused all season. We won 72 games. Scott came out and played hurt, played injured. So I knew I had to dedicate myself to finish this season off strong because I felt very positive about our ball club. And Ron did a great job of coming out, giving us the lift that we needed today because he's injured.
Now, you have been around all 4 championships. Can you compare this one to the other 3?
Well, this is great because our basketball team was so focused this season. We went out and we've tried to win every basketball game that we faced. And to make this season more special, we felt like we had to win an NBA title. And these guys really deserve it.
What about you personally? You've battled all these injuries. You got the dream team coming up. Will the injuries have any effect on you competing in the Olympics?
Well, I don't think I'll be as valuable to the Olympic team with those great players that they have on their basketball team as we have here at the Chicago Bulls. So if they can live in my minutes, I'm looking forward to playing them all. I'm dedicated to going and playing throughout the Olympics, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, congratulations, you guys, on a great year.
Thanks, Ahmad.
All right, let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Okay, thanks, Ahmad. I'm here with Sonics coach George Carl, who's gracious enough to join us. What did you tell your team afterwards?
Well, there's seasons in basketball that you can be proud of, and there's a specialness to this year's team, and I think a lot of things that we've done. I think there's also a lot of pain in our locker room because, you know we didn't give it our best shot in a couple games in this series, and we just never could play well on this court. Our team's heart was very big, and I think they showed a lot of pride. But, you know, we just didn't shoot the ball or pass the ball or rebound the ball well enough to beat Chicago on their own court.
What was the difference here on their court? Was it their experience?
I think energy and experience has come to mind right away. You know, it seems like since Game 3, the team that had the energy, that had the extra bounce, was winning the games. And we had it in Game 4 and 5, and they had it in Game 3. And tonight, I thought, you know, their bounce on the rebounding was unbelievable. But I also think the experience, you know, we kind of got frustrated at times in this building and gave them minutes where we didn't play our best basketball.
How will history treat the Chicago Bulls, who came into this series? A lot of people theorize they were one of the greatest teams ever. Did you destroy that theory by making it a series and making it difficult on them?
They're a great basketball team, and I think, you know, that shows with 3 all-defensive players. You probably got the MVP in Michael Jordan. You got probably the best all-around player in Scottie Pippen. You got the best 6-man award in Tony Kukoc. You got a great coaching staff led by Phil Jackson. So I think they got to be in the top 3 or 4. But as I said to my team, I said we showed that we're close to them, and I think I think with an experience and the growth that can happen, this team will be back fighting for the championship again.
Okay, George, thanks very much for joining us. Great effort by your team coming back from 3-0. Let's send it back out on the court.
All right, thank you, Hannah. And Seattle with their first trip to the NBA Finals since they won the championship in 1979. A 64 regular season, 64-win regular season scenario for the Sonics in the playoffs. They beat Sacramento, swept Houston, beat Utah in a grueling 7-game set, and then came back against the Bulls but lost in 6. We'll be right back. Chicago Bulls, the composite record for the season, 87 wins and 13 losses, including the playoffs. Tonight, game number 100. There is symmetry in that as we conclude this NBA regular season. The chairman of the Chicago Bulls is Jerry Reinsdorf. Many questions will be facing Jerry in this offseason, and he is with our Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. There are an awful lot of questions for Jerry Reinsdorf, but the main ones are, will Rodman, Jordan, and Phil Jackson all be back next year?
Well, right now, I just want to enjoy the moment, the celebration that's going on here, and the visit that we have to Grant Park, and then we'll worry about those things later. Right now, all I want to think about is what this team accomplished and what an incredible job that Jerry Krause did in putting together a team of players that anybody else could have had, many of whom nobody wanted.
What would be the reason for any one of the three not returning?
Look, we want everybody back, but who knows? Life is funny. I don't even want to think about problems right now. I'm having such a good time now. I don't want to think about any bad things.
Do you expect it will be a problem with any of the three?
I don't want to have any problems. I hope there are no problems. I hope we have them all back, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Tonight is a night of celebration for this great city and for our fabulous organization.
Jerry, thanks for taking the time with us. Let's go back to Marv Albert.
All right, thank you, Jim. And I'm here with my cohorts, Bill Walton and Matt Gukas. Final thoughts on this 95-96 edition of the Chicago Bulls. Where is their place in history, Bill?
Right at the top, along with a number of other teams who all believe that they're the greatest team. But what was so impressive about the Bulls this year was the way they did it with style, dignity, and the pride and hard work ethic of Michael Jordan.
And obviously very emotional for Michael Jordan.
Well, you could see it all building up in Michael after coming back and going through the disappointments of last year and then bouncing back and leading his team to just a storybook season.
All right, let's join with Bob Costas back upstairs. Bob?